Patty. Welcome,
Blog
welcome,
Talk
welcome to the
Radio.
Goddess. Well, I forgot. Welcome, everybody, to the Goddess Suite.
Hello, thanks for having
Hello,
us.
everyone. We are here to talk full effect. And tonight we will be discussing Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and Sista Love will be going in detail about her journey and giving us some healthy tips and advice on how to deal with not just your sickle cell condition, but any condition that you might be having issues with. So I don't know what the song for tonight is. Who's the DJ tonight, ladies?
Yeah, there's no song tonight. Sickle cell disease is, it's not really a singing, celebrating type of situation. So we're just going to jump right into it. All right, so sickle cell disease is defined by the National Library of Medicine as sickle cell anemia, hemoglobin SS disease. Sickle cell disease and sickle cell anemia is a disease passed down through families. It is inherited. It's inherited through genetics and through the DNA, through the mother and father. The red blood cells that are normally shaped like a disc take on a sickle or crescent shape. Red blood cells carry oxygen throughout the body, but when these cells are misshapen, they hinder the oxygen flow throughout the body, which causes havoc. Okay, now the causes of sickle cell anemia, and I'm reading everyone from my book. I'm writing a book called Nutrition for People with Sickle Cell Disease, and these are excerpts from my book. Sickle cell anemia is caused by an abnormal type of hemoglobin called hemoglobin F. Hemoglobin is a protein inside red blood cells that carries oxygen. Hemoglobin F changes the red blood cells. The red blood cells become fragile and shaped like crescents or sickles. The abnormal cells deliver less oxygen to the body's tissues. They can also easily get stuck in small blood vessels and break into pieces. This can interrupt healthy blood flow and cut down even more on the amount of oxygen flowing to body tissues. Now, oxygen flow to the body is so important for all of your organs, your tissues, your cells to function to function properly and to do what they're supposed to do. And I have sickle cell disease. I had a bone marrow transplant back in 2010 at Johns Hopkins, and my brother was my donor. And since then, I haven't been sick with it. And since then, I've gone on a journey of healing with food and sickle cell disease. So I began learning from people like Dr. Sadie. He claims to have cured someone with sickle cell with nutrition and diet. But I have tried it myself on myself, and I have seen very promising changes and positive differences in the way I feel, my blood work, my lab work. People with sickle cell disease have a lot of pain. Let me talk about that. Let me go into the book. It says, all right, this is a wonderful clinical definition. As you can see from the definition, we are lacking vital oxygen in healthy red blood cells. This translates to many unfavorable side effects and symptoms, including fatigue, chronic pain, weak immune systems, and deformed, unperforming red blood cells. life with these side effects is difficult to say the least. We cannot do the things we would like to do. Those of us who have children, like myself, cannot play with them and enjoy recreational activities with them as much as we would like to. We are consistently tired, and simple tasks as housework, exercising, and taking leisurely walks become difficult to impossible for some of us. Our immune systems are weakened, and we catch colds and viruses easily. Living with chronic pain and chronic fatigue is no fun at all. Now, when the oxygen, when these cells sickle and they break down and they change shape and the oxygen is depleted from the body and they get stuck in the blood vessels, they cause pain as well. The worst pain is like getting hit by a car or something. It is, you cannot describe the pain of a sickle cell, and they call it a crisis. This is the worst, and the only thing that can help and get rid of the pain once it starts is narcotics. Very, very strong narcotics. So a lot of people with sickle cell disease, when they have these episodes, they have to go into the hospital, and they stay for weeks at a time. And some people lose their lives, and they die. Their organs shut down, and because it's almost like lupus, as if the body is attacking itself almost, because when the body is going through these episodes, when there's no oxygen, the organs kind of can't function properly. They shut down, they react. So, and it's not good. And a lot of health problems are, come on as a result of the disease. And me, myself, I had it all my life. You're born with it, but it became bad when I became an adult. So, like working and things like that was difficult for me. And it got to a point where I couldn't work 40 hours. So then that's when I heard about the bone marrow transplant, and I had it. And it was successful, but during that time of being poisoned by like chemo and radiation, I began to learn about other ways, like through nutrition and more healthy ways, because I did, like my body was depleted, the poison, it's horrible. The process is not fun. It's not for everyone. So, and going through that, me want to learn how there's got to be a better way. So I began juicing, eating a lot of green vegetables, and I realized that a lot of, if I thought about the treatments I was getting iron treatments through blood, I was getting folic acid prescriptions and things like that, and I realized that they're basically trying to infuse red blood cells. So I began eating foods that help my body naturally create red blood cells, and it worked. Like when I started eating these foods and drinking these juices, my lab work, my results would show. Like my hemoglobin was normal, like it's like just normal. And I mean, you could attach it to the transplant, the bone marrow transplant, but I like to say that prior to me, including these foods and fruits and vegetables in my diet, I wasn't feeling as good. Like my skin changed, my energy increased, because when I was on a lot of medication, a lot, after having a bone marrow transplant. So when I began including certain foods into my everyday lifestyle, not diet, but lifestyle, I noticed a tremendous difference in everything about my health, how I looked, how I felt, my energy. Of course, my hair has fallen out, but then it began growing. and growing from the and then my sisters, my goddesses, they were there. They witnessed, when I, they this, this when I started eating these foods and drinking these juices, they saw it. So it was amazing. So that's why I'm writing this book, to help people with sickle cell disease to not to replace their treatments, but to complement the treatments with food and fruits and vegetables. And for us, with that disease, basically our red blood cells are what is deficient. So we need to eat the foods that help us to create red blood cells. Not only did I do that, I also incorporated meditation and positive thinking in my life. I meditated on healing. I am healthy. I did not have sickle cell. And when you put this into your being, into your knowing, into your spirit, then you will live that. You will manifest that. And so I manifested what I believed. And so that's a very, very big part of healing process of anything, any dis-ease that a human being goes through. They can manifest healing through their mind, through their thinking, through their meditation, through tapping into their higher self, into their light body, or some will call it Holy Spirit. Now, at this time, I was Christian, so I was using the manifestation properties that I learned in I learned it in Christianity, but I didn't really realize how I was using the law of attraction and meditation into my healing process. So you definitely have to not take what you see in front of you as reality, because we create our own reality in our minds. It is in your mind. And a lot of the medications I was taking had side effects, like seizures and just really horrible side effects. And so I began meditating on healing of certain body parts that were affected by this medicine. And then I began carrying crystals, the clear quartz crystal and the selenite crystal. These created vibrations, and that healing vibrations. So I will hold the crystals and meditate. And healing, I'm telling you, ever since that I began holding that selenite and that clear quartz, the seizures stopped. And then meditating, I know I meditated on my brain being healed. And I went and got a scan on my brain, and the doctor couldn't see anything because I meditated on that healing. And it is what you think, it is what you see, it is we have to learn our ability of manifesting. When we incarnated into this human body, into this human experience, is so that we can learn manifestation. We can learn our power as humans, as light bodies, to manifest what it is that we want and need in our lives. And what you see is not reality. You will create it. What you think now is what is going to happen to you next week. So along with the food, which was so very, very, very beneficial and crucial, as well, I incorporated meditation and positive thinking and positive thought, and that those together contributed to my healing. It contributed to my everyday, my consistent healing, because this thing called sickle cell, I haven't quite got it. I know on JC we follow Jamila Shabazz and John Christopher. He was saying that basically because they told you you had it, you say you had it. Once you accepted it, you got it. And I have to think back on that. If they never told my parents about that, would it have manifested? So I just who knows. So But during my healing process, I told myself I don't have it. And I felt fine, you know. I mean, I'm wonderful. I mean, to this day, I mean, I'm fine. And so I like to take what I learned and help those out there that are battling this disease. And when I meet people and they tell me about the children, that really, it breaks my heart when I think about the children going through that. And as a child, I really didn't have a lot of issues with it as far as pain crisis, but a lot of children are going through it, and even adults, you know, and it's like just little things that we can do in our everyday lives that will contribute to not being in pain or not getting sick or not having to be in the hospital. And it is sickle cell disease is really it's bad. I mean, it's horrible, and it causes so many different health problems that I'm still recovering from that I went through, you know, prior to the transplant. And it is the number one blood disease in America. And a lot of doctors, because it affects mostly people of color, mostly African Americans, and some people from Greece and a few Latin Americans, you will be surprised at how many physicians do not know how to treat it. And therefore people go through unnecessary pain and just, you know, they're sick unnecessarily if they're not treated properly. And I was fortunate enough to be treated at Johns Hopkins. Not that I haven't been through some nightmarish experiences with some doctors. Oh my gosh, that's a book right there. But it's a really bad disease. And so anything that I can do to help people, you know, I definitely want to do. I feel like I have to. I have to go through what I went through, and you know, it's my duty. Just like I want to help people not have to have diabetes and all these other things that we are afflicted with in our community. I also want to help my fellow brothers and sisters with sickle cell disease and just make people aware. And a lot of African Americans don't know they have it in their families, because you can have the trait or be a carrier, and when you have the trait, meaning one of your genetic cursors that you pass on to your children is one of your hemoglobins has an S, or it could have a C. And if it's an SS, then you have the disease, and you probably already know. But if you have a C hemoglobin and you marry and have a child with one with an S, then your child is going to be a carrier. It's going to have what's called the trait, and that means you're a genetic carrier. Like my son, he's a carrier because his dad did not have the disease, and we got him tested, so we would know. And yes, I was already pregnant, but still, we wanted to know. And so my son is a genetic carrier for it, and I told him he cannot have any children with someone who was another genetic carrier for it. So in our community, we need to get tested for the trait. Like my mom didn't know she had the trait. My father did. And when they conceived us, you know, she didn't know. And their first child died in the 70s. So it's important that we be aware of this disease. And I just wonder about the disease as far as the food. I wonder if us taken from Africa, if we were, and this is what Dr. Sadie says. This is what he said. He says that our food wasn't brought over here with us when we were taken from our land. So, therefore, for generations upon generations, 400 years, we've been eating the wrong food. And I wonder if this disease manifested because of that, as far as the American. But there are people in Africa that have sickle cell, so I'm not really sure how it is that the food can help. When we eat the proper foods, how that can make it makes but it does make a difference. Even when I had the disease, there's certain things I didn't eat, and I noticed I wouldn't get sick as much. So, but yeah. So sickle cell disease is a disease that affects hemoglobin. It's passed through your parents. And when we conceive a child, one hemoglobin is donated from the mother and one hemoglobin is donated from the father. When both hemoglobins are passed and it's SS, then the child will have the disease. If both hemoglobins are, if everyone has two hemoglobins, and this is kind of complicated, but everyone has two hemoglobins. And like say my mom and dad, they both have two hemoglobins. One of my mom's hemoglobins is normal. One of her hemoglobins isn't. It's like a C, or S. So one is normal and one is S. So when they had my mom's and dad's first child, a hemoglobin S from my mom and a hemoglobin S from my dad passed to him. And so he was born with the disease. When they had my sister, one of my mom's normal hemoglobins passed to my sister, and one of my dad's normal hemoglobins passed to my sister. So she was born without the disease. She's completely healthy and healthy. She has no sickle cell problem. And then when I came along, the same thing happened with their first child. One hemoglobin S from my mom, and one hemoglobin S from my dad passed, and then I had the disease. And that's pretty much genetically how the dice roll when two people, consistently have children that both have the trait. So it's just, but then my brother came, he only got one hemoglobin, one normal from my mom and one not normal from my dad, or vice versa. So he has the trait. He's a genetic carrier for it. So I technically now have the trait. I have the trait, but I will not have any more crisis as a result of sickle cell. So no episodes and no more deterioration of my body, my cells, my organs. I will not have any more deterioration as a result of sickle cell since I had the transplant. It was worth it. It was worth every moment of vomiting, every moment of pain.
Absolutely, I can only imagine.
I mean, that bald head.
I just want to know, how has sickle cell been a gift to you? We know the bad sides of the disease, of how it makes you feel and those type of things, but what have you learned by carrying this? Because I don't like really labeling the disease, because then we acknowledge it. But let's just say, how have, when you have detox episodes, we can call them that, what have you learned by going through these types of episodes?
Well, I'm gonna answer that question from the perspective of I incarnated into this body. I chose this experience. I chose it. I chose to have sickle cell disease. And the reason why I believe that I chose it, and I know I chose it, is to help someone. I've gone through these things to help someone not go through these things. I have done it so that my experience can be a lesson or a teacher, I guess, for someone else's experience. So I can help. I already know that I'm incarnated on this planet to help people and to love people. So I've gone through that for those two reasons, and that is a good thing about it. I'm strong. My spirit is strong. So, and I chose this path, and this is why. And that's a good thing, is that I can teach someone and help someone else. That's why I've been through. That's why I went through the bone marrow transplant. That's why I've had the hip surgery. That's why I've had. Oh my gosh, I had to go down the line on the health thing about it as a result. But anyway, that's why I've gone through these things, and that was a good thing about it. I don't regret it. I don't wish that I didn't have it. I have it for a reason. I incarnated into the body for that reason. So that's the good thing, is I can help people. I can talk. I can have this conversation here and now. I can be on Blog Talk. I can be writing this book. I can help people. I can see people in the store, or like one of the girls, one of the moms, she has to go for a treat. And I'm talking to her because she has pain about, what food to eat, or, I'm giving her advice. I'm telling her where her nephew has the disease. So I'm telling her what to tell her sister about her, these are the things, these are good things. This is good because I can help someone. I can be talking to someone in the grocery store and tell them, the good, okay, yes, you have it, but look, let's take this and do this, so that's the good thing.
Yes, good thing. Your whole presentation was very, very beautiful and enlightening, and I hope our listeners were able to get some real positive information that they can pass on to their loved ones and people that they might know that are battling the disease itself. But one thing that I would like to recommend is try not to identify with the disease or let people label you as having this and having that, because then that's what you're going to always identify with. So, now I understand, like growing up when you would hear about someone like older in the family that had the disease, and then somebody might have said, why would they wait so long? Why didn't they tell anybody? But on a subconscious level, they probably didn't even understand why they didn't tell everybody. But in actuality, if you're telling people, then they're bringing in that consciousness with you. So if I'm telling everybody, oh, I got diagnosed with cancer, so then every time someone sees me, like John Christopher says, oh, there goes Kendra with the cancer. So it's like I understand why a lot of our ancestors kept things to themselves, and and didn't really subscribe to what the doctor told them anyway that they had. A lot of the ancestors didn't even believe that crap that they would tell them anyway. A lot of people didn't even like going to the doctor anyway. So
yeah, they didn't go to doctors. Their mothers were the doctors. They were the doctors and the clinicians and things like that with herbs and minerals and, holistic ways. And we call holistic now, that was every day. Parents would get castor oil every day and certain things. And apple cider vinegar and blackstrap molasses. These are at-home remedies. So, and I almost want to change the name of my book because of that, Kendra, because I don't want people to claim it or identify with it. So I've been thinking about that too, because I always would say I used to have sickle cell disease. I do not have it anymore. So and like JC, John Christopher said, when you're going through that episode, don't call it a crisis, call it a miracle. So my body is going through a miracle right now. And so that was enlightening, and that was powerful. And
very.
So I know when I would be having those moments, I would just kind of try to leave my body and try to mentally, I'm not here, this is not happening, I'm not experiencing that. Deep breathing, it's like that, to try to not think about it and not be in that experience. So that's why I'm thinking about, changing, maybe call it hemoglobin. I don't know what to call it. Look, I'm thinking of changing it, but I mean, it has to be recognized and identified as that, because that's what modern medicine calls it or recognizes it as, and that's what most people can identify with it. So, maybe I'll do a chapter in the book about don't claim it, or something like that. So, but but definitely during my healing journey, I did not claim that. Not at all. I would always say I used to have it. I used to. So, and I don't, and I tell people I used to have sickle cell. How did you used to have it, How can you not have it anymore? And I would tell people, this is how I don't have it, So, but what I want to, a tips for people who are battling the disease, eat more kale. Eat more kale. That is a superfood. Beets, kale. You're going to need oranges, vitamin C, or lemon, because the vitamin C helps your body to absorb the iron of the beets and the kale. And they also, and kale and beets help your body to produce new red blood cells. The vitamin C helps your body produce new red blood cells. Iron helps your body produce new red blood cells. Beets have everything, B12, B6, B7. All of these B vitamins help your body to produce new red blood cells. And they also give you energy. They give you energy so you won't be fatigued. And the reason why you're fatigued is because you're iron deficient. And when you're making your lifestyle into eating these, people that have been diagnosed with that should eat this every day. You should eat something iron-rich food every day. Beets and kale, broccoli, green leafy vegetables, spinach. All of these green leafy vegetables are very imperative for people with who have been diagnosed with that condition. Now, you're going to say the words. So those are the foods that should be eaten on a daily basis. And you can juice it. And I have juicing recipes for people with sickle cell disease. Follow me on Facebook and send me a message. Love Yourself Nutrition Coaching on Facebook, or email me smjnutrition@gmail.com. And if it's for sickle cell, just tell me. I will give you the recipe. I will give you the juice recipe. I will not charge because I can't. It is my duty. Literally, it was told to me in my sleep. So this is my thing. So just contact me, and I got you. So I'm gonna give you the information. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, still there? Hello?
Yeah.
Listen, guys. Any questions or comments? Hello? Oh, Mr. Gal?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No. The stopped.
Yeah.
The recording stopped. I don't know how long ago. Maybe a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah. Recording stopped. So yeah. Well, I got hopefully I have those